little problem kind of getting my live stream going, but I'm back on right now. And today, man, I had two issues. You know what? In fact, let me get my fan on real quick. It's a little hot today. I may have told you guys I live in the South now, which is a beautiful area. I live in the South. I live in Louisiana now. It's beautiful out here. But it's a different kind of heat on me. Yeah, I'm dealing with a whole different kind of heat, which is cool. But so let me get you guys to where I started at with this and how this became a topic, right? So the other day I watched this film. I was excited about this film, They Will Kill You, with Zazie Betts, who is an actress who just I think she's awesome, and not just because she's super gorgeous, right? And it was great. It did not disappoint me, despite the fact that from the trailer, I thought she was running around in panties the entire movie, right? Fighting against villains. That's not what happened, except, everything except the run around her panties. But it was an awesome movie, man. Action-wise, man, it was great. I'm like, if you enjoyed Kill Bill, then you'd love this because this is Kill Bill, but actually good, right? It's not a stupid story like that, right? I think it's got a lot more depth to it. So Zazie Betts, of course, if I'm saying her name right, plays this heroine figure who enters what is called the Valence Hotel. And this is important. Just a well-acted film, just absolutely well put together film. And what's important out of this hotel is when it was built. This is a fictional Valence Hotel that was built in 1923. And I'm going to take my pictures of Zazie off here, no pains me to do so we can get to the important graphics here, okay? So the importance of this hotel is that it was built in the 20s. They talk about it. It was built in the 20s, and it was built specifically to lure outsiders in to be part of this ritual. It was this ritual sacrifice of blood that granted people immortality. Now, the reason why this is important is because this is kind of a reoccurring theme in a lot of American media, and I'm starting to notice this more and more. We have a lot of stories that talk about basically rich people eating people or sexually abusing people, all kinds of stuff that goes along with elite power, right? So we know this already. And the list of these stories, man, is just growing more and more every single day. So we've got, 40 years, 50 years of watching history or watching mythology tell us stories about what the elite will do to you. And again, when we talk about mythology, we talk about story, and this is modern mythology evolving. This is mythology evolving right before our face. We are building a mythology that says that, rich people, they will eat you or lock you up. They'll do all kinds of, they'll do whatever to you. And this is something that we're kind of starting to see that this is true. So I put together a list of films, and I'm going to talk about this because I think it's an important thing. That's a reoccurring thing. It means something. The same thing we would say in why were ancient cultures always talking about sun gods, right? Why are we always talking about the elites literally consuming people, right? Why are we talking about this all the time? And that we have this long history of stories that tell us about this, and then we have Epstein Island going on right now. Those are not disconnected concepts, right? People in our culture are telling us something that's going on in our culture, and it's been going on for a very, very long time. So I wanted to get into this. Now, this is important. This is an important takeaway from this is the 1920s. Most of these stories are kind of centered around things that were developing during the 1920s. If we go to The Shining, you see right up at the top, we talk about this hotel. Now, this hotel fits a lot of the characteristics. It was built on a place that is known for violence. It is built on a place where lots of people died. It absorbed people into its history, and this past never goes away. So you have, and this is an important thing. During the 1920s, they call it the Roaring '20s because the economy was just killing it, right? This is after World War I, right? The United States benefited a lot from warfare. They did. Money was just rolling in. We had the world's largest economy. It was just humming along. And people took the money and started doing really crazy stuff with it. So this is why you get the Shining Hotel. This is where you get the Hotel Cortez. This is where you get this Valence Hotel, and They Will Kill You. It's there because people were actually doing this stuff, right? There's a part of it that's not made up. It's kind of banked into culture, and so culturally, we're seeing a lot of this stuff come out, right? These elite groups, these sacrifices, and these are the commonplaces. It's almost like a palace. You have these exclusive, isolated building or places that are built for power and separation. There's this idea of absolute luxury at the highest level, beauty, exclusivity, and that you're lucky to be here. And that's something they actually say in They Will Kill You. You are lucky to be there, and you're really lucky if they don't kill you. But killing's going to go down. Killing's going to go down, right? And we see this story. I'm going to talk about these a little bit more in detail, but each of these stories, The Shining, American history story with Hotel Cortez, They Will Kill You, right? Eyes Wide Shut, the Tom Cruise movie, which is a great film, by the way, is that same story without these supernatural components. So it's secret societies, it is rituals and symbolism to maintain control, and it's about people getting jacked up, right? The film, The Menu, if you watch that, is kind of reverse on that. These are recent films. I think The Menu probably came out a couple years ago. Eyes Wide Shut, we're probably talking 10 years ago. The Shining was out, I think it was 80s. We're talking about the 80s that came out, written further back than that. Hotel Cortez, I think, was out in the 90s, and They Will Kill You. It's a very recent recent story. And then, of course, Epstein Island is going on right now. So all these things are kind of gearing around the same thing. The Grand Budapest Hotel, same kind of scenario. World of elegance and privilege, unsustainable, right? This beauty fades, the system is decay, but this pattern. So this is telling us the same reason that we said, why does everybody have a sun god? There is a reason for it, right? One, we didn't understand, but two, we were all kind of sun-focused cultures, right? That was the kind of the universal part of it. So we looked up in the sky and we saw what gave us life, and that's how people interpret it. So what does it say that we keep having these stories where if you pour and you end up here, they getting ready to eat you, or they getting ready to do something to you, and you ain't gonna make it out of here, right? And that's exactly what happens in this scenario. All these are built on consumption. So again, when I talk about the Overlook Hotel, and I was pretty specific. This is built on a site of absolute violence. This is Native American genocide that was built there. Why that makes it better? It's the type of energy that they wanted in that place to facilitate. So this is the haunting of the past elite indulgence, which is like, oddly, a 1920s ballroom scene. Who's trying to build a ballroom right now? Ballrooms go a lot with exploitation of the poor. It's the highest mark of, I'm getting ready to exploit you if I have an exclusive space that's just for dancing and having a ballroom, right? That's a part of it. And you can see culturally all those things come up. If we look at American Horror Story, right, this is the same type of things. Everything about this era, when you go back and look at the artwork, it's very subtle, right? It's a very subtle message, but it's still a very strong message. They were saying like the 1920s, the late 1930s. I'm gonna see if I can find an image of this one here. I think that's Grand Budapest. Let's see if this one here, American History X. Okay, so this is kind of what you're looking at from this hotel, and they still exist. Like, you'll see a lot of these buildings, right? They're old cultural buildings, and these buildings will scare the bejesus out of you every single day, right? So this is a story, again, 1930. So this is kind of coming out of this era. And again, what stopped a lot of this was the Great Depression, which I think started in like 1939 or however it went down. So this place was literally, they were designing places to control and then murder people. So this is the elites gained immortality. It was also through addiction. It was exploitation. So all these concepts coming through this hotel, right? These beautiful hotels. So it's always this message. And so when we talk about They Will Kill You, right? Her sister's down and out. She's been, living by herself, and she gets lured into the same scenario with the promise that she will live as long as they help her, as long as she helps them kill other people. So these are really, like, this is something that we can't get away from, that we keep talking about exploitation of poor people. We keep hitting on exploitation of poor people, even though this is wrapped up in a really good action flick, right? It's got supernatural. Like, I don't want to take away from how good the movie was. I was excited about watching this because I think this is her first feature film that's her, She did a brilliant job, by the way, okay? But the theme that stuck out to me was, yep, you're talking about something that's very common. You're talking about something that we be complaining about all the time is, watch out for them rich weirdos over there. They about to do something strange to you for a little piece of change. That's what they always want to do. They got all this money, they just want to give us pennies, right? Give us some actual bread, man. You ain't even got to really exploit us like that. There's a lot of us who's out there willing to do something strange for a little piece of change when the bread is real. But that's not what they want to do, because they want you to be scared. They want you to live in fear. They want you to suffer. So this is kind of a repetitive theme that I feel like it's starting to be a part. If I was really defining American mythology right now, this is modern myth stories. People will be interpreting these stories 10 years down the road, 20 years down the road. We'll still be talking about these stories. The Overlook, The Shining, this is written by Stephen King. So we know he's locked in. Now we're going to talk about Stephen King movies and all that, for years to come. So it's an interesting mythology that we're seeing slowly building. I talked about Tom Cruise's film. Let me see if I can pull that one up too. That because another great film, Eyes Wide Shut. And if you go watch this one, it's really, really creepy. This idea of the leak. Now there is no supernatural component to this, right? So there's not any demons in this, and that actually kind of makes it a little scarier, because you strip away all the supernatural, and now you're like, yeah, we don't even need demons. We don't even need Satan in the background. Like, come on, get it done. All we got to do is be rich and weird, and as long as we've got enough money and we think we can get away with it, this is what's going to happen. So again, another film that comes out of this. This is American storytelling repeatedly. We're seeing the same themes in different films for some reason, and we need to figure out what that reason is. The other film, again, I had mentioned it, was the Grand Budapest Hotel, which is kind of a twist on this. This is actually not a horror film, which I think, again, this is not just a horror film topic. It's not, right? We've proven that it's not just a horror film topic. It exists in multiple types of films. And that's what makes it even more significant, is we're seeing multiple types of films, multiple genres of films, all talking about the same things. If you see some rich dude in a weird car, you better run, right? Because here's the thing, it gets even further than that. I tell you, your boy be paying attention, man. If nothing, I watch a lot of TV, and I take notes while I'm watching TV when I see stuff. Because there's another show that fits right into this category, man. And this is Nosferatu. If you ever watch Nosferatu, check this bad boy out, man. I think it's like available on Prime or something. I don't know. I watched it maybe like 6 months ago. Just binge the series and with my wife, and it's like, man, all about exploiting children. Now this is different because it's not a hotel. Like, he has a whole like other dimensional kind of place that he takes his kids, but his link is through this car. Now this is an old Rolls Royce, again built from that era, right? This Rolls Royce is that era, 1920s ish. His style is all that 1920s ish style. That's not lost. This was not a 72 Cutlass, right? It wasn't that. The dude didn't jump out with platforms on and some bell bottoms, right? So this was very specifically an era. They were selling us an era where and this car is like the hotels in itself. The car operates against you. So when you get into these places, you're not just fighting against the people, you're fighting against the building, the structure itself. We're talking about doors that lock and you can't get out of, windows that are 100% unbreakable. So there's a lot of stuff going on here. This car is the same thing. Once you get in this car, you in trouble, because you ain't getting out of it, right? And that's how he would get these children. And he'd be driving around, and it's like the car was like, it's working for you. Even if you get out, car was still going to handle its business for you. So the car represents the hotel. So again, I'm just giving you guys this because just check this out, man. I'm telling you, it's a storyline that's just creeping and creeping and creeping and getting a louder voice. And I'm paying attention. It's the same thing when we said everybody in culture has a sun god. Everybody in culture has a sun god. Now, here's the thing. Like, we need to be very specific when we're talking about our culture here. And again, I grew up in this culture, right? I love this country. I'll never say anything about it. But I do like to talk about the weirdo stuff that we see going on in our culture. Now, it's not lost on me that this excess is still going on right now, right? Like, this kind of excess is still going on. But the roots of all this go way back. It's not like they just started doing this in the 1920s, man. They had a whole slave trade that they tell you guys was all about picking cotton and getting tobacco, right? They tell you that. That's, even though that's horrible, right? Oh no, we just got all these people to exploit their labor. Okay, here's the thing. After you was done picking tobacco all day long, you still had to be used for sexual gratification. Sometimes during the time, you might be bent over getting some tobacco, and here you come. Here comes that slap, slap, slap sound, right? So sexual exploitation was at the highest level. And let me tell you guys something that scared the nonsense out of me, right? Was that, I think it's like, you guys have to look this up. It's like 1862. I'm not lying, okay? I'm seriously not making this up, right? Making this up, guys. In 1862, they passed a law that tied the baby to the mother, right? Which was different, right? Remember, these are Europeans who set this system up here, right? And I'm not pointing out Europeans. I love Benny Hill. I love Mr. Bean, okay? We ain't going there, okay? But the people who did this came from that location. They came from that culture. That's all I'm saying. Obviously, it wasn't all Brits or Europeans who did this. It was a tiny percentage of them, but this is what happened. And in their culture, births were linked to the father. So it was very, very specific thing that they changed the law here so that the child was linked to the mother. Because what this allowed the slave owners to do was to now monetize rape, right? Essentially, if you're a slave owner and you have one slave woman, as long as it's a woman, you were in business, right? You were in a slavery business now because this woman didn't have any rights to resist you sexually. So you were able to take advantage of her. And if there was a child that came out of it, all the better, because now this was a material possession that you could then sell. Legally, that child was not connected to the father. He was connected to the mother. So he held her same status. So that child, male or female, was born into slavery automatically. So if a slave had any value, you had one slave that had some value, how much value does 10 slaves have, right? So that's kind of where we are with it, okay? So this is significant because this is a part of American history. So, and I'm doing this for emphasis because we've been talking about the same things. Excuse me one second. Excuse me one second. Sorry guys, I had dogs, right? You know how it is. So culturally, America has been on this track for hundreds of years. We've been doing exactly the same thing for hundreds of years, and our storytellers are catching this and running with the story. They're telling us about the story. And this is just the most recent manifestation of it. And I was thinking about other films, like I pulled together this list, which is a great list, right? And they all, pat myself on the back. This is a great list because it shows how it goes down. Each one of these films goes into a luring process. Particularly, They Will Kill You, I think gets into it obviously it's a very modern story. It's happening right now. But of course, like we see some things in actual culture right now that are kind of tied to this. So this was just like, it's an emerging genre of storytelling. I think it's going to be increasingly important. And let's pay attention because sometimes people in telling stories, they're telling us some things about our culture. And let's remember that Stephen King talked about The Shining. He built that. And that is a whole thing about exploiting weakness, exploiting children. They weren't doing it in a sexual way, but the idea of that exploitation is still very much there. And also as a culture, we adopt a lot of vampire movies. And if we cut vampire movies down to the core of it, it's usually an elite class. Like vampires be balling in the movies, right? Vampires are the rich elite class in these movies. And what do vampires always do? Exploiting people. A lot of times exploiting children. So the culture of exploitation, particularly of the most vulnerable, is really starting to be reflected in our storytelling in movies like this. So I want to touch on the movie, which was a great movie, by the way. I don't want to overwhelm it, but I also want to talk about the significance of the type of story that it is and what it means for this culture that we're repeatedly telling these kind of stories, right? So again, I just want to stop in, drop this jewel on you guys, and kind of run with it. I'll be back later doing some more myth labs. In the meantime, go watch They Will Kill You. It's a great film. You're going to enjoy it. Man, this lady right here is an actress who's just coming up. I'm really excited about seeing her future. But the film, to me, had significant impact. And I just really